Hi, my name is Fernette Roshini, and I'm with Coldwell Banker, and I hope that you will enjoy my channel. And if you have any questions or if you want to contact me for any reason, my information is right below the video, and I look forward to hearing from you. So one of the things that's interesting about this area is the way that the cities are set up. Sometimes they are incorporated areas and sometimes they are not. For instance, the city of Bowie is an incorporated city and it has its own police department and its own fire department. It has special amenities that people who are living in the area can take advantage of. And it also has Bowie taxes. People who live in areas that are unincorporated, such as all of Glendale, there's no Glendale Town Hall. The fire department and the police department are under the auspices of the county, and there are no extra municipal taxes. So there are advantages and disadvantages to being in or outside of an incorporated city. Sometimes the city has some limitations on what you can do. For instance, parking particular vehicles or growing vegetables in your front yard. You're not allowed to do that in Bowie. There are other little stipulations here and there. I don't remember all of them. Let's look at the map and see if I can explain this a little bit better. Here is the map. This is Zillow. And we see here that this is the map of Bowie as we see it in Zillow. Actually, this map reflects the post office designation of what is Bowie and what is not. So this area here includes 4 zip codes: 20715, 20716, 20720, and 20721. However, generally, in just a broad sense, most of this area, which is 20715 and 20716, are actually part of the incorporated areas. However, that's not always true. And also sometimes there are areas that look like they should be Bowie and they're not. For example, we can look here, High Bridge Road is right here. It's in the middle of Bowie, but it is not. It's not considered part of Bowie. And also this area of Old Chapel Road, there's some areas here of Old Chapel Road that are not considered Bowie. Also, we can see that over here, let's look at Old Bowie, and let's see what happens with Duckettown Road. We see that this is the main drag right here of Old Bowie. And the fire department is right here. There are a lot of little antique shops and things like that in this area. And you go 1, 2, 3 roads away from downtown, it's walking distance, and we see as we click on these that these are Duckettown Road, Laurel. Laurel doesn't look like Laurel, looks like Bowie. You're right in smack in the middle of Bowie. However, this area here, all this area up here is unincorporated, and this area over here is incorporated. This is part of Bowie City. You pay taxes over here. You don't pay taxes over here. These people can use the community center. These people probably won't be able to use the community center. I know that my daughter took some drama classes at the Bowie Community Center, and she had to pay extra because she was not living in a house that paid Bowie taxes. So sometimes it's just a matter of paying a little bit extra. You can still use the Bowie ice skating rink if you're not living in Bowie, but you do need to pay extra for that privilege. So we are coming over here to look at another map. And on the Bowie website, the City of Bowie website, we find this map which shows areas annexed to the city of Bowie up to the year 2019. So we're going to look at this and see what it says. As we look at this, we see that if we click on an area, it tells us that this area is not annexed since the map was made in 2004, and that this area is all Bowie. Everything inside the turquoise lining here is in Bowie. And these colored areas are areas that have been annexed and are now part of Bowie, although in the past they were not. So we see down here the Ryan Homes area. I didn't realize that was Bowie. I thought it was outside Bowie. This is also the Stanley Homes area. It's inside Bowie now. And some of this area here is quite interesting because this area here where Don Whistle Way is not Bowie, but this part is, and this part is not. And these parts here were annexed. So this is the D section in here. And also this area here is Bowie, and it's below 214, but it's still Bowie. Let's see some other things. We can see over here, this is Melford. Melford is now Bowie, but the area of housing behind it is not Bowie. All this area over here has a zip code of 20716, which makes it seem to be inside of the Bowie Incorporated area. However, all this area, although it's 20716, it is not Bowie. It's unincorporated. If you click on it, nothing happens. If you click on an area that has Bowie, then it actually will show you that it is. Let's look at High Bridge Road again. This is High Bridge Road. You would anticipate that because this is Bowie here, and this is Bowie up here, that this road would be included in Bowie, but it's not. You can click on it, nothing happens. If I click here, that's Bowie. All of this area is Bowie. You can see the turquoise lines again. But this area is not Bowie. Even this area goes over to 197. This area, it's not Bowie. It's not incorporated. So they would not be paying the taxes. So you need to really check whether something is Bowie or not. Let's come up here. I'll show you something. This is the Duckettown Road that we were discussing before. And we can see that if we click on this area, let's see, in this area, it's unincorporated. But if we click over here, it's in Bowie. Also, if we click up here, this is 3rd Street. Anything above 3rd Street, here's 3rd Street. This area up here above 3rd Street, that just includes houses on 3rd Street. But anything above on 3rd Street is not incorporated. But this area here is incorporated, and these homes are almost the same. They're made by the same developer. So if we want to be sure, because this is a 2019 map, I always check and go to the public records. So here we can go to public records search. Street is Myrtle. And we see some of Myrtle is Bowie and some of Myrtle is not. Let's check a house let's see one which is 5,000 square feet. We check this one and we see that this is inside the city of Bowie. It says municipality Bowie, and municipal tax is $2,200, which is a little bit below $200 a month. Okay, now if we go back and we look at this and we find one which is, so let's find another one which is about 5,000 square feet. This is unincorporated area, and you'll see that there is no municipal tax here. So we are still legitimately outside the city of Bowie there. Hi, so my husband and I drove around and we went to places that were Bowie in name, but not really Bowie because not inside the incorporated city. And we had a lot of fun doing it. We drove out to the end of Queen Anne's Road to see the bridge near where the 4-H Club is. We drove other places as well. We saw a lot of big houses and some smaller houses as well. And I hope you will enjoy our tour. I will just give a name of where it is so you have an ability to see where the location is, and I'll try to keep the snippets a little bit short so you just get an idea of what's in each area. The first place we're going to visit is the Bowie State University, and also right next to the university there is a MARC station which can take you downtown. It's quicker than the metro, but it's also a little bit more expensive, but the parking's free. Now we are driving down Racetrack Road, and we're going to stop when we get to the WB&A Trail, which is just north of the racetrack. The racetrack is in Bowie. This area is Myrtle Street, just above 3rd Street. It's in Old Bowie, but it's not in the incorporated city of Bowie. This is 5th Street in Old Bowie. However, it's the part of 5th Street which is not inside the city limits. Therefore, it comes directly under Prince George's County. This is Duckettown Road, starting from Maple Street in Old Bowie, and Bowie says that the first 7 houses belong to Bowie, but the post office says both sides of the street here are Laurel. So this is actually Laurel, but not Laurel. We're now getting to the other end of Duckettown Road where it meets Springfield Road. And on the left, behind the houses on Duckettown Road, you can see some other homes. Those are in the Bowie postal area, but not in Bowie. When I turn right off of Prospect Hill to go south on Hillmeade, the houses on the left, which are in the east side of the road, are in Bowie. It's part of the Q section. But as I go further south, they're not in Bowie, even though they still have a Bowie postal address. These homes are in Prospect Knolls. This area is on the east side of Hillmeade, and it goes down to 450. And these homes are a little bit older, but they're very nice. As you turn from 450 onto High Bridge Road, both sides of the street are inside of the city of Bowie. However, as you go further, then neither side is in Bowie. But there are places that are further to the west and further to the east that are in Bowie. These houses are not in Bowie. From High Bridge Road, if you go west on Old Chapel, you make the first left and you're in High Bridge Estates. And these homes are quite nice. Many of them are larger, and yet they're inexpensive, so comparative to the newer pricing. So if you're looking for a larger home, this might be a good place to start. This is Chapel Hill, and it's between the railroad and 197, so you really would expect that it would be in Bowie, but it's not. So anyway, their houses here are kind of nice. They are a little bit older, but they're nicely cared for. So if you're coming south on 197, first you pass the shopping center on the right, and then you go past the post office, which is not part of Bowie. And then you go past the dog and cat emergency veterinary care, and that is part of Bowie. And then there's a little street, and it's called Lancaster. And at first it's just the trees, and then you go down it, and there are houses. And I took some pictures of houses on the left, and then I got to the end of the street, and I found a house that had horses. So of course I had to take pictures of the horses, because just the idea of having horses in the middle of Bowie is great. Generally, people think of Fairwood as being in Bowie. However, it's not inside the incorporated city of Bowie. It is only in Bowie according to the post office, which gives it the zip code 20720. Here we are on Dawn Whistle Way. It is off of Church Road on the east side, so one would think that it would be in part of the incorporated City of Bowie D section, which is just a bit south of here. And these homes are really new, but they're nicely spaced. This is Kings Isle Estates. It's on the west side of Church Road, and it has a zip code 20721, giving it a Bowie address, although it's not Bowie. And it is a nice area. The houses are less expensive than I thought they would be. These homes are in Westbrook Lane, which is just off Mitchellville, which is just to the west of Church Road. And again, 20721 is the zip code, giving them a Bowie address. The homes are kind of far apart, so in order to resolve that, I just took a snippet of some of the houses and put them together in a chain. So you'll see that the video is a little bit choppy because I didn't want to show long stretches of trees in between. This is Queen Anne Road, and it has a zip code of 20716, but it's not in Bowie. It is on the east side of 301, and it goes out to the Patuxent River. But before it gets there, it meets up with Queen Anne Bridge Road, and they meet together at a little park near the old bridge that used to take you into Anne Arundel County. There's also a little 4-H club out there. I don't know if it's still active, but when my kids were little, they used to have hands-on activities there, and it was a nice experience for the kids. This street is King James Street. It's off of Queen Anne Road, but I thought it gave a better sense of what the housing is like in the area. The houses are back from the street a little bit, and they're some distance from one another, but they're still quite nice. This is the bridge at the end of the road, but it's blocked. You can't go on it anymore. But the river itself is quite beautiful. And I showed you the north part of the river first, and then I'm showing you the path that goes up to the parking area. And then I'm going to go down a little tiny path, and I'm going to show you the south side of the bridge. We went out Queen Anne Road to Queen Anne Bridge, and now we are returning on Queen Anne Bridge Road. And we're finding that there are a lot of areas that don't have houses on this road. There are a lot of fields, and there are a lot of trees. And there are houses that are individually here or there. And then we come to this area where there's agriculture, and there are also older homes and newer, larger homes. So it's kind of interesting how they're all together. This is Mill Branch Estates, and these homes were built between around 2016 to 2018. And they run in price from about $800,000 to maybe $1,200,000. And they're well spaced apart, and they're beautiful homes. The area here, notice it comes off of Mill Branch Road. Mill Branch Road goes right out and meets up with Queen Anne Bridge Road. So you could go straight from here right out to Patuxent River. The only way to get in and out of Sherwood Manor is through the business park, Melford. This area is Sherwood Manor. It is hidden behind Melford, and there's only one way in and out. So I wonder if there is a problem at rush hour. There are a lot of houses back here, and it is a very nice little community. I didn't see any new construction. I'm wondering if they might build another exit. This is Sylvan Lane, and it is on the west side of 301. It's between the funeral parlor, which is in Bowie, and White Marsh Park, which is in Bowie. So you would anticipate that this little street also would be in Bowie, but it's not. However, it has a little bit different feeling than the rest of Bowie because it's a little more countryside, and it has kind of a mix of homes. That's kind of nice. After Sylvan, there are no more houses as we go north on 301 until We go across the bridge over the Patuxent into Anne Arundel County. So that area that we enter is the Gambrels. Gambrels is the name of the town, and Crofton is the name of a housing development that is located in Gambrels, but everybody calls all of Gambrels Crofton. Anyway, my office happens to be in Gambrels, and it's called the Crofton office. My name is Franette Roshini, and I am with Coldwell Banker Realty. And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, it is below. And if you want to call me, I'm always happy to help people. That's really important to me to do that. That's why I like being a real estate agent, because I can help people. My information is below. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you.